Welcome to the Brazil Around in English. And the thing we're going to talk about today is the Seleção roster for the Copa America. It was pretty straightforward. There were no huge surprises, but I do have some complaints, and I guess I'll be sharing them. So I'll start with the goalkeepers. Allison, predictable. That's the starter. We all know that's going to happen. Ederson from Man City next. I like that. I was kind of surprised he got picked. Overall, I love that. And then Casio from Corinthians, and I've never been a huge fan of him, but I have to be honest about his performance, especially the past 8 to 10 months. It's been absolutely phenomenal. He's the best goalkeeper in the country of Brazil right now. I know some people wanted Fabio from Cruzeiro. Right now, I got to go with Casio. I think that's a good third string option. Now we're going to get into the right backs. Dani Alvarez. I know a lot of people don't like that. He hasn't been playing right back with PSG, but I don't think that makes a damn bit of difference. He's always been clutch with the Seleção. He doesn't get a lot of credit for that, and this team missed him a lot in the last World Cup. And then his backup is going to be Fagner, and I have to be honest, I'm completely fine with this. I know a lot of people don't like him. He recently had a really good game with Corinthians. He hasn't been on his best form this year, but I think he's going to round into form. And I think even if you looked at his performance against Hazard, man, he held up against Hazard. Not many people can say that. I think he's an underrated player. And I wouldn't even be surprised if he starts some matches over Dani Alves. He's definitely going to hold a role this Copa. Um, at left back, Alexandro. I find this interesting. I think this is the clear-cut number one. I don't think there's any discussions. I'm a big Marcelo fan, but Alexandro's simply better at the moment. I think that's the truth. Then Alexandro's backup's going to be Felipe Luis. I'm fine with this. I would have probably taken Marcelo. I would have probably maybe even taken a younger player like Heynan Logi from Atletico Paranaense. But overall, I'm fine with this. At center back, Miranda, I think this is backup. I think this is filler. I know a lot of people weren't happy with this call, but come on, he's reliable. He still plays at an extremely high level. I think this is more than fine as a backup role. Thiago Silva, I didn't think he'd be called. I'm happy he's called, and I think he's going to end up starting if I had to take a guess. Marquinhos from PSG, this is versatile. This is necessary. He can play right back. He can even play volante. He can even play defensive midfielder. But center back's where you get the best work out of him. I think that's going to be the pairing, Thiago Silva and Marquinhos. But a guy named Eder Militao, the next player on the list, might have something to say about that. Some people think he's going to showcase at right back. I don't think so. I don't think that's the direction Chichi is going. But expect Militao to actually see a lot of action. He might even start. I honestly have no idea what Chichi's going to do with the center backs right now. Now we get into the controversial part of the roster. Casemiro, clear-cut starter, great player to have. Next, you have Arthur from Barcelona. That's legit. That's nice. That adds something a little bit different to the midfield. And now we get to the really controversial player, Fernandinho, and my worry is he's going to start. I know a lot of people don't want him on the roster. They wanted Fabinho from Liverpool, especially because he has more positional versatility. But Fernandinho is probably going to start, and it's honestly a problem. He's not a good passer of the ball, and it's really, really regressed as he's gotten older. This might be the sticking point. I'm sure Chichi's going to start him. I honestly think he's going to go Casemiro and Fernandinho in the middle of the pitch. So look forward to it. Here's a player I'm excited about, Allen. I'm not surprised he got the call given with what he's produced with Napoli this year, but he's been overlooked for a long time. And I wonder if he has the physicality in the middle of the pitch. I don't think he's the most creative player in the world. So he's going to have to show me something for him to be part of the plans going forward. But this is a great opportunity for him. The next player is a guy I'm extremely excited about, Piccata from AC Milan, and this might be the player who transitions this Brazil midfield into above average to very good and maybe even lethal. He's strong. He can play deep. He can play behind the striker. Very good touch, decent playmaking skills. But the thing I love is his dribbling, and he can dribble with strength, and he can hold the ball in the middle of the pitch. He gets in good areas. He's pretty good at finishing. I think he's going to be absolutely lethal if Chichi uses him right. That's my main storyline going into the Copa America. First of all, like, what's the starting 11, but also how this midfield is composed. I know a lot of people are worried about the back four. I'm not worried at all. I'm just more worried about how this midfield is composed. Now we're getting into the attackers. I mean, I guess you can consider Felipe Coutinho a midfielder or attacker, whichever way you want to look at it. Some people were even mad about this. I heard some people wanted doo-doo over him. I heard a lot of things. I mean, Vinicius Jr. was left out. That's something I have to talk about before this show is over. But Coutinho is fine for me, and he plays really, really well with Brazil. But I would like to see maybe Piccata get that starting role over him in that attacking midfield position. That's one thing I want to see. So that's a storyline to watch. Next, you got Neymar, and there's controversy surrounding Neymar. He punched that fan in Paris. It seems like every time Carnival comes around, he's in Brazil, even though he plays in Europe. That's a problem. The injuries always seem to pop up around them. But he's an absolute warrior for the Selecao. He takes a lot of heat in Brazil. He takes a lot of hate in Brazil, honestly, at this point, and it bothers me. He's still a five-star player, top 10 player in the world. Let's be realistic about it. I could see him absolutely going off this tournament. But the problem with Neymar and the talk in Brazil is they say it's hard to play with him. And a lot of people were using Gabriel J Zeus as an example, saying, well, it's impossible to play with Neymar. I don't find that true, but we're going to hear a lot of that talk if this team doesn't produce in the Copa America. Next player, we have Everton. He plays for Grêmio in Brazil, and I was happy he was called. Like I said, Vinicius Jr. left off, but I think Vinicius Jr. should have been included. I'll tell you for which player. But Everton's good because he's really comfortable on the wing. He's got a pretty good cross. He's extremely explosive, all the attributes you expect from an outside midfielder in the Selecao. But I think the one thing he can bring to this team, and one reason why he's on this roster, is his ability to go back and do gritty work in the midfield. He's extremely gritty, plays with a high motor, really fucking good. And I think he's going to surprise. Like, for me, David Nair is coming out next. I think Everton's a better player. And you can't really say that because David Nares went off in the Champions League this year, but I think Everton's a better player. I think he's better at finishing. I think he's better at dribbling. I think Nares is a little bit stronger, and Nares might be a little bit trickier in the box, but I think Everton's a better player. And I would have had Vinicius Jr. included for either Nares or Richarlison. And I know I'm going to take a lot of heat for the Richarlison and statement, but I'm fine with it. What does he do elite besides work rate? This isn't Chile. This isn't Wales. You don't pick players based on their best attribute being work rate. And I know he's finished a lot of goals for Everton. I know he's been a great player for him. I've been infatuated with his game ever since he was playing with Fluminense. But what does he do at a world-class level besides work rate? And yes, you need glue players. But when you have luxury piece after luxury piece after luxury piece in attack, you have to be picky. Can he come in and play number 9? No. Does he feel comfortable with his back to the goal? No. How is he better than Douglas Costa? How is he better than Vinny Jr. at this point? How is he better? I don't think I'm going to just leave it there. He's good in the box in terms of being able to get on crosses, but that's really all he's going to add from the wing and work rate. I don't know if this is the creation, the explosion that this team needs, and how great is he going to be on defense? I know he has a good work rate, but how good is his positioning going to be for Chichi? These are all questions. Now we got the number 9 position. Richarlison's probably going to factor in there, but come on now. I think that's beyond him. I would like to see Chichi try it, but we'll see what he does. We got Roberto Firmino, and this is a player I've doubted for a long time, but he's earned his spot. Same questions about him. Is he good with his back to goal? I think he's better than Charleston. I don't think he's better at Gabriel J Zeus than that. But I think Firmino adds you more in attack, more in passing, and I would be surprised if he was not a starter here. The last player on the list, Gabriel J Zeus. I'm still excited about him. I'm still a fan of him. I love the work he can do in the box. He can also get out on that wing, make people miss with the dribble. He can drive by people. I love that from him, but we haven't seen him produce in the Selecao games that matter. And you're going to get that Vinicius Jr. talk because people are going to be looking for something to rant about. People are going to be looking to complain that Fabinho's not involved. Those are the two big omissions, in my opinion. Are they going to be sorely missed? I don't think so. But Vinicius Jr. should have been on this list. That bothers me. That really bothers me. Subscribe. Hit the like button. Leave your comment. The Brazil Around in English podcast.